Hi, I'm Shelley. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my 2024 reading wrap-up, and I'm going to share some of my favorites from last year as well. So my reading recap, I'm getting some stats from Storygraph. I read 69 books, and I also bought 69 books. So that kind of balanced out. But I didn't read all the books that I bought. Of the 69 books that I bought, I read 38. So that's not too bad. It's not great, but it's not too bad. I read 69 books, and according to Storygraph, that was approximately 22,528 pages. And the most popular genres that I read were mystery, thriller, literary, contemporary, and crime. I also read fantasy, historical, romance, science fiction, self-help, horror, LGBTQIA+, memoir, magical realism, science, philosophy, biography, classics, dystopian, business, comics, autobiography, history, psychology, short stories, and speculative fiction. So as you can tell from that, I like to read a variety of genres. If I read the same one too often, I tend to get bored with that genre. Some of the authors, the most read authors, I read 3 Kathy Reichs books, 3 Benjamin Steven books, 2 Agatha Christie, 2 Lynn Cahoon, 2 Becky Chambers, 2 Emily St. John Mandel, and I think the rest were, well, just a variety of other authors. I read they're mostly print. According to the format here, it's mostly print with 75%, 19% audio, 6% digital, but a lot of the books I read that I have the physical book of, I do listen to the audio book as well if I can get it, if it's available from my library or wherever. Let's see what else. Like I said, I read 69 books. I did finish a Christmas one on New Year's Day. I bought 69 books, like I said, but 2 of those, I didn't get them until New Year's Eve, so I didn't really have a chance to read those. I was hoping, one of them was a Christmas one, I was hoping to read it during Christmas, but I didn't end up reading it. And I ended the year with 114 unread books on my physical TBR, approximately. I just went through my shelves. And seeing with this coming year, I'm going to go through my shelves and see, there might be some books I just might not be interested in anymore. So then I'm going to keep track of it this year and then see how many books I buy, and then how many of those I read, and how many that are already on my bookshelves that I actually read this year. I use the library online for audiobooks, but I'd like to use it more for ebooks as well. But my nearest library is about 45 minutes away, so it's kind of hard to go in and actually get physical books, which is what I'd rather have. And it's also a small library, so there's not a big selection of books to choose from. So, but I think I'm going to try to read ebooks more, because I want to purchase less physical books, more money in my wallet, more space on my shelves for the books that I really do like. Like thrillers, I don't plan on reading thrillers twice, so I might try to get those from the library, or maybe just get the ebook instead of the physical book, probably, or even the audio book of those. But I really like to be able to hold physical books, because I guess I grew up in an age where, that's all we had was physical books. There weren't any audio books, there weren't ebooks. And I guess I just like the feeling of just closing. When you're finished reading the book on the last page, you just, and the books are in your hand. is just what I like better, but I do want to try to read more ebooks if I can. Let's see, what else did I have my notes? Because if I don't have my notes, I'm not going to remember anything. So yeah, that's my plan this year. I'm hoping to try to buy less physical books, although this month I already have 10. But I'm going to try to buy less full price books. Most of my books will be, usually I try to get them on sale anyway, or thrifted that way. So I'm hoping to save some money that way. So now I'm going to go through some of my favorite books from last year. They won't really be in any order. I don't really think I can pick the one that's favorite, because there's a variety of genres here, so I'm not really sure if I can pick out which one I like the best. So I'm just going to go one at a time, probably. I think there's 15 books, maybe. I think there's 15. So I'll just pick one at random. Book I really enjoyed this year was Finlay Donovan Rolls the Dice. And that is the fifth, I forget, book in the Finlay Donovan series. In the first book in the series, Finlay Donovan is killing it. Finlay Donovan is a writer, and she's overheard discussing her latest novel, and then someone thinks that she's actually a contract killer and tries to hire her. So, and it all goes from there. The books are really, the situations she gets herself in are pretty over the top, but that's what I like about them. They're fun, they're funny, and I've enjoyed all of them, and I can't wait for the next one to come out. I think it's next month. Could be next month or March. So I'm looking forward to that one. The next one that I really like this year is The God of the Woods. I spoke about this one in another video, I think. There's two different timelines. Teenager vanishes from summer camp. And the same camp, a child disappeared, I think it was 20 years before that or something. And I really like the story. The mystery with the family, and you don't know who the guilty party is throughout. And I really did like the ending of this book. There's a different ending to it. And yeah, I really like that one. I'm just going to toss all my books over there. Let's see. This one, Leigh Bardugo, The Familiar. I enjoyed this one basically because it was Leigh Bardugo. She's one of my favorite authors. I have all of her books that she's written, and I've enjoyed them all. This one is, it has to do with magic. In a shabby house on a shabby street in the new capital of Madrid, Lucia Cortado uses scraps of magic to get through her days of endless toil as a scullion. But when her scheming mistress discovers that the lump of a servant cowering in the kitchen is actually hiding a talent for little miracles, she demands Lucia use those gifts to better the family's social position. So, yeah, I really like this one. Now I have to wait for Leigh Bardugo's next book to come out. The next book, my favorites for last year, is Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. I almost forgot the name of it. I've mentioned this one on in my previous videos. Vera Wong, a lady who feels like she's been forgotten, lives above her tea shop. She comes downstairs one morning into her tea shop, and she finds a man dead on her floor. And she decides that she's going to solve the crime. She thinks she can do a better job than the police, and it all goes from there. I really like that one. Let's see, this one, I don't know if I've mentioned it before. The Last Love Note by Emma Gray. I really like this one. This one is a different story from what I usually read. 2 years after losing her husband, Cameron, Kate is a bit of a mess. Lurching from one comedic crisis to the next, She does her best to navigate work, friendships, and parenting a 5-year-old without Cam's support. When a flight diversion on a business trip unexpectedly leaves her stranded in a beach town in Australia, Kate finally has a chance to process her grief. Can she let go of the love of her life and risk her heart a second time? The last love note will make readers laugh, cry, and renew their faith in the resilience of the human heart, recognizing that while you may never stop loving the one you lost, you can always find love again. And I thought this was a really beautiful story. And I have her latest book, and I'm hoping to read that one soon too. All right, next, go with this short one. I've heard of this book before, 84 Charing Crossroad, and I've always been intrigued by it. It's a book. It's written in letters. It was first published in 1970. It brings together 20 years of correspondence between Helen Hanff, a freelance writer living in New York City, and a used book dealer in London. Through the years, though never meeting and separated both geographically and culturally, they share a winsome, sentimental friendship based on their mutual love for books. Their relationship, captured so acutely in these letters, is one that will grab your heart and refuse to let go. And I really, this was a beautiful story for such a short book, and just in letters, I thought it was a wonderful story. And the first letter was written in 1949, and the last one was in 1969, so it was over 20 years of correspondence. And the next one, I have to turn that down. All right. Let's see, the next one is Shadow of Night by Deborah Harkness. I'm really late to this series of books. This is part of the second book in the All Souls trilogy. I just picked up the third one, so I'm planning on reading that one this year. The All Souls trilogy, I'll read the first one. The first book, I had this book for years and years. Actually, I think my daughter had it in her room and said I gave it to her at one point. I have no idea where it came from. And then a couple of years ago, I decided to pick it up and read it. And this is about deep in the heart of Oxford's Bodleian Library, scholar Diana Bishop requests a manuscript called Ashmole 782 in the course of her research. Coming from an old and distinguished lineage of witches, Diana senses that the ancient book might be bound up with magic, but she herself wants nothing to do with sorcery. And after making a few notes on its curious images, she banishes it quickly back to the stacks. But what she doesn't know is that the old alchemical text has been lost for centuries, and its sudden appearance has set a fantastical underworld stirring. Soon, a distracting horde of demons, witches, and vampires descends upon the Bodleians' reading rooms. One of these creatures is Matthew Claremont, an enigmatic and eminent geneticist, practitioner of yoga, and wand connoisseur, and also a vampire with a keen interest in Ashmole 782. So, and this one is historical as well, because they, in the second, well, I won't say what they do in the second, but there is different periods of history discussed in this series, and I really enjoyed both books, and I can't wait to read the third book coming up. This one is a witchy book as well that I really liked, and this is The Crescent Moon Tea Room by Stacy Sivinski. And this is three sisters who run a tea shop, and I really enjoyed this one. It's a witchy, cozy, family type story, and the sequel, actually, this one I believe comes out, this is coming out October of this year. So I'm going to pick the sequel out, pick it up when it comes out as well. Looking forward to that one. Another one of my favorites from last year, Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. And it's described as Knives Out and Clue meet Agatha Christie and the Thursday Murder Club. And I've seen Knives Out and Clue, and I really love Agatha Christie. I have not read the Thursday Murder Club, but it is on my TBR for this month or next month. So on the back of the book it says, everyone in my family has killed someone. Some of us, the high achievers, have killed more than once. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but it is the truth. Some of us are good, others are bad, and some just unfortunate. Have I killed someone? Yes, I have. Who was it? Let's get started. Everyone in my family has killed someone. My brother, my stepsister, my wife, my father, my mother, my sister-in-law, my uncle, my stepfather, my aunt, me. And this was my favorite of the three Benjamin Stevenson books. I did like them all, but I really like the way the story is told. You feel like you're part of the story. The author is kind of talking to you as the story is going through and telling you what's happening in the story. And I really, really enjoyed that one. Let's see, another one. Oh, this is number 10 if I counted right. I don't know. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We'll see. This is the last of my top 10. There's 5 more that are sort of honorable mentions type thing. This one, Holly by Stephen King, is one of my favorites of the year. Holly Gibney is one of my favorite Stephen King characters. And she's her character is different person. Some people like her, some people don't. But in this book, let's see. Readers have witnessed Holly's gradual transformation from a shy but also brave and ethical recluse in Mr. Mercedes to Bill Hodges' partner, Finders Keepers, to a full-fledged, smart, and occasionally tough private detective in The Outsider. In King's new novel, Holly is on her own and up against a pair of unimaginable, depraved, and brilliantly disguised adversaries. And I really like this one. Holly is on her own in most of this book. This is set during when COVID was at its height. So her partner, Pete, has COVID. And she basically takes on this case on her own. And she does some questionable things in this, but I really did like this book. And now 5 honorable mentions, I guess. This one I discussed in one of my other books, in my other videos. The Life Impossible by Matt Haig. It's a bit magical realism in it, and I really enjoyed this one with retired math teacher Grace Winters. You can check out my other video if you want me to hear me talk more about it. I really like that one. I spoke about this one as well in one of my other videos, The Book of Witching by C.J. Cooke. I really enjoyed this one as 2 different timelines, Orkney 1594 and Glasgow 2024, and there's a Book of Witching that connects 2 women in these 2 time periods. Let's see. What Does It Feel Like by Sophie Kinsella. This is only a short story, but it was a beautiful story. It's fiction, but it is, I think, semi-autobiographical. Sophie Kinsella herself does have a brain tumor, and in this book, it's about a novelist who wakes up and finds out that she had surgery to remove a brain tumor. And it's sad, but there is funny parts, and there's hope, and there's heartbreak. There's everything in it, and I really enjoyed this one. Let's see, a couple more books left. Stuart Turton's The Last Murder at the End of the World. This book was different. Certainly towards the end, it was a few twists that I did not see coming, but it was a different story. Found it very interesting. It says, outside the island, there's nothing. The world was destroyed by a fog that swept the planet, killing anyone it touched. On the island, it is idyllic. 122 villagers and 3 scientists living in peaceful harmony. Villagers are content to fish, farm, and feast, to obey their nightly curfew and do what they're told by the scientists. Until, to the horror of the islanders, one of their beloved scientists is found brutally stabbed to death. And then they learned that the murder has triggered a lowering of the security system around the island, the only thing that was keeping the fog at bay. If the murder isn't solved within 107 hours, the fog will smother the island and everyone on it. But the security system has also wiped everyone's memories of what actually happened the night before, which means that someone on the island is a murderer and they don't even know it. So this one just goes through pretty well, almost not really hour by hour, but it just takes you through the 24 hours, the 107. And they have 107 hours to figure out what has happened and how to get the security system back up. And I really like how the story goes. Like, it starts off 107 hours to humanity's extinction, and then it's like a countdown throughout the book. So that one I really enjoyed. And the last one is Kathy Reichs' Fire and Bone. This is the 20-something, or 23rd, 24th. Let me check. I was going to write it down. Let's see. It is the 23rd book in the Temperance Brand series. And in this one, there's a series of fires, which you have to, of course, solve, figure out what's going on, who's causing it. And I like this one because, of course, it's based on the TV show Bones that I used to watch. It's based on this series of books. I really enjoy reading these books, continuing on with this series. And actually, there is a new book in this series coming out this year. I think in July, maybe. I forget what it's called. I think it's called Evil Bones or something like that. So I'm looking forward to reading that one when it comes out as well. And that is it for my reading wrap-up and some of my favorite books for 2024. If you liked any of these, you can let me know down below. Or if you didn't like them, you can still let me know down below. And I'll be back soon with another video. Thanks for watching. Bye.